Just over 2.5 years ago, I lost my brother to suicide. It was about 6 months leading up to that Jason was suffering from depression. And it hit me in a big way because Jason's my best mate, he was my brother. It came as a real shock initially when I found out, because Jason's the type of guy that's very jovial. He's always the guy in the room making a joke and always smiling. That can always come as a shock to people. Often the person that's suffering the most in the room is the one that can hide it the best. The reasons behind the ride was to raise mental health awareness around depression, because it's something that even some of Jase's closest friends and family weren't aware of, and it's something that a lot of people suffer from but it's not seen.
Big Jay! Started!
I wanted to raise money for the Black Dog Institute, which is an institution that we strongly believe in. We wanted the money to go towards mental health education and suicide prevention. And I wanted to take Jase's ashes around with me because we had a dream of travelling around Australia. First milestone for Ride for Jase was to get to the most eastern point, so that was Byron Bay. I made a point of every time I get to the extremities of the country that I take Jase up there. I take his ashes, like he's with me all the time, but physically hold his ashes in the air and celebrate with him that we've made it to a milestone.
Gold Coast done. Just arrived with my mate, Kane Coford. We're going to head into Brisbane.
Brisbane was the first capital city we got to. We approached a set of traffic lights. Everything was pretty kosher. Just before the lights, and we noticed a car cut straight across in front of us. You know, it just happens all in an instant. You slam on the brakes, and you hope the car's going to get out of the way quick enough. So I've hit the bonnet, I've done a front flip over the top. In my head, all I'm thinking is, can we get back on the road this afternoon? I didn't want to stop. I couldn't see it, but my clavicle was basically sticking up in the air. There was a grade 5 acromioclavicle separation, so that's every ligament in the shoulder torn off. And my recovery time's going to be between 3 to 6 months.
It's been 4 days. 4 days. And I've been doing nothing but recovering. It's been okay, been in a lot of pain, but Kitty Cat, my beautiful nurse here.
Oh, ticklish.
She's been helping me.
A strange coincidence that where I had the crash, one of Jase's best mates only lived 40 minutes away, and he's an exercise physiologist, and I saw him every day for 3 weeks, and he worked on my shoulder. I was able to recover in 7.5 weeks and get back on the bike.
Here we are, ready to start Ride for Jase again. It's been 54 days since I was lying right in the middle of this intersection. We're going to head to Noosa today. It's beautiful weather, and it should be a safe travel. Wish us luck.
The next milestone after the crash was to get to Cape York, so the most northern tip of Australia. That part of the journey, getting up to Cape York, was probably one of the most rewarding because of how difficult it was. You know, dusty, sandy, red dirt, having road trains going past you. The way me and Kat communicated was with 2 ways. So we put it on channel 40, it's the same channel that all the truck drivers use. I'd hear on the radio, I'd have it in my ear of people saying, "Who's this bloke? He's crazy, he's an idiot, you know, he's got rocks in his head, and this guy's different." And I suppose that stuck with me, the different part, because it made me stand out, it made me draw their attention. You know, it might only be a couple of words. And they go, "What are you doing, mate?" I said, "Oh, I'm riding around the country." "Oh, you're kidding, you know, and why are you doing that?" I said, "Oh, I lost my brother to suicide and I'm doing it for mental health." And it's all broken up, and, you know, hopefully they take something away from that.
100 K's out of Alice, and he is on fire.
One of the great moments was in Alice Springs. I did 2 talks there, one on the way down to Uluru and then one on the way back. I had a girl there waiting around for me after I was speaking, and I was talking to a couple of kids, and she sort of wore that look of like I'd been through a fair bit in my life, and she approached me and just said to me that she needed that, and that hearing what I said and talking about the loss of losing a loved one was something that she'd never thought about. She'd never thought about the other side of what it would mean to her family if she's not around. I just broke down in tears, you know, and she did as well. And it wasn't necessarily something I needed to hear, but it was the first recognition that someone's benefiting from what I'm doing. To hear that was just like, made it real, made it raw, made it like, yeah, we're making a difference. I really felt that if Jase had known early on how to be able to talk about his emotions, his feelings, and things that were bothering him, that he would have been able to get the help early on. A steep point probably go down as the toughest day on the whole trip. 100 k's of gravel road and 45 k's of sand dunes. I've been walking for the last, about 3k. And it's taken a hell of a long time, only going about 4 k's an hour. With 35 k's to go. Looks like mostly sand dunes. This could be a very, very long night. Yeah, my hands were blistering. The shoes were full of sand. When we got off the Nullarbor, we got to a town called Ceduna. Probably every day the weather that I looked at wasn't temperature, it was winds, because winds was something that affected me the most. And the tailwinds were just lining up. And I said to Kat, tomorrow I'm going for it. So I got up early that morning. The end place we wanted to get to was Kimber, which was 311 k's away. I think my biggest ride before then on the trip was about 230 k's. So Kimber was the destination. We got to Kimber, and by that stage, Mum and Lance caught up to us, and they couldn't believe that, I'd ridden 300 k's and neither could I, and I was exhausted. I was just out of it. And so I had an extended rest. I had probably about 40-minute rest, and I cooled my body down. And just before I got back on the bike, I said to Kat, I'm feeling better. I said, if I'm feeling better, let's just see how far we can go. I only got a K down the road, and I seen a sign come up. And Jase's favourite number was 8. And I looked up at this sign, and it said, 88 k's to Iron Knob. I just said, that's meant to be. Jase's favourite number and a town called Iron Knob. Kat came past a couple of minutes later, and I just got on the radio and I said, check if there's a caravan park at Iron Knob. And next time I rode past her, I just put my thumbs up, and she put the thumbs up back, and I knew that's it, it's on.
Woo! Ben rode 400 k's today. It's crazy. So many road trains. Been so many road trains today, but they've been very friendly.
Kitty cat supported me. You're the best.
It's been a big day. 4:30 a.m. start, and it's
8:30.
8:30. Yeah, around that.
Getting down to the most southern point was something, again, that was a little bit unknown. It was like basically bushland and tracks and going over swamps and planks and what people had built.
Southernmost point in Australia, you beauty.
I had a moment to myself with Jase and just showing him. I think the waves were pretty good that day. It was offshore, and just thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool? We'll be down there having a surf together. The dream for me and Jase to see the country and to show him these magical places and the extreme parts of the country is awesome. Coming back in home, we really wanted to create a bit of a buzz around it, because there's just more exposure for the cause. We had Channel 10 there, Channel 7 and the radio there and newspaper, and I just thought, man, that's awesome, because it gets me quite emotional, because that's the way we can connect, that's the way we can get the word out there. And getting in there and being able to bring joy to everyone from what was such a tragedy was what it was meant to be. A massive thank you has to go out to all our supporters, all our sponsors, those who donated, those who gave up their time to support. Together, we've all achieved in helping other people out there with mental health. It's definitely helped with grieving of Jase, It's definitely helped with continuing Jase's spirit, and if we can all open up that little bit more, then other people out there can feel safe to do so, and we can make a difference, and you're all a part of that, so thank you.